Okay, so let's start. Welcome. Again, my name is Eric Bosha. I am accompanied with the product manager for low vision at HumanWare, Nathalie Réaume, which is going to be my co-host today. So say hi, Nathalie.
Hi, everybody.
So in today's webinar, we're going to talk about all the products that we offer at HumanWare for low vision. And we're going to take a little poll a bit later on also, and we'll have time for Q&A. So this little introduction to all the low vision products was an initiative by Natalie and I, just so that people would get acquainted with our low vision products here at HumanWare. I know people love our blindness products, but let's talk a bit about low vision today. So let's just move the little camera here and we'll start. We have several products that we offer at HumanWare. We have two handhelds, which is our Explorer line. The Explorer line, we have a 5-inch Explorer or an 8-inch Explorer. Now let's take a look at what we can offer on these two handhelds. So this 5-inch handheld magnifier is very portable. It's very small, compact. We have on one side the HDMI port. On the other side, we have a USB port in order to be able to charge the device. In the back, if you flip it around, you have LEDs, one on each side, the camera in the middle, and you have the handle, which in the handle, we have the battery in there. If you turn the device around, we have a nice 5-inch screen with a couple of buttons on each side. So on each side, on the right-hand side, we have the plus and the minus to zoom in, zoom out. And then we have a capture button, which is the orange button. On the left-hand side, we have the contrast button, which will change the colors. So, and on the top here, we have the power button. So you can press the power button in order to start using the device, or you can just flip the handle. And let's say I want to read something on my, everybody knows Lysol wipes in these days, just because of what we're living with the COVID. So let's see if I can read the instructions that I need to read on my Lysol bottle. So this is, you can use the handle in this way. So it's a nice fit in your hand, and you can also zoom in or zoom out using the button in one hand. You can also use the Explorer 5 by flipping the handle and back, and then just flipping it a couple of degrees here, and this will enable you to read. So I have here a nice book from John Grisham, The Appeal. So let's take a page here, and I can just slide over my magnifier on top and start reading what I'd like to read. And again, this is very portable. I can zoom in, zoom out, something that you can bring along to parties that we're not allowed to do right now. Because of our everybody's isolated, but we're doing some virtual parties right now. So you can read it with the color mode. You can change the color contrast by changing by pressing the button on the left-hand side, and it's going to loop through the colors that have been set on this button. The capture button, the orange button, is just to, if you do one short press, it will freeze the image, so I can take the image with me and maybe zoom in if I'd like to, or zoom out. And if I do a press and hold on that orange button, it will save that image inside a gallery. To access the gallery, press and hold the button on the left-hand side, which is the contrast button, and there will be a menu that will appear. And in this menu, the first option on the top is the gallery. So if you can move around in the menu with the plus and the minus. Once you want to select an option, you go with the orange button. You click on the orange button, which will select. Right now, I selected my gallery. I can see what I have in my gallery. To come back, just press the contrast color button on the left-hand side, and you're back to live mode. Close the stand in the back. The device shuts down, And once you're ready to use it, either press the on button or flip the stand and it's ready to use. No waiting time when you boot up these devices. That's really nice. It's ready to use when you're ready to use it. So this is the nice Explore 5. We also have the big brother. The big brother is the Explore 8. The Explore 8, because it's a 8-inch screen. Right now I have the flip stand that is flip. But basically what you have on this device is that you have 3 buttons, very easy to use, very intuitive. So you have the plus and the minus to zoom in or zoom out. You have the orange button to change the contrast right in the middle. If you go on the left-hand side, you have a USB-C connector to be able to charge, which is at the bottom here, at the bottom of the device. And then if you move up a bit, you have an HDMI port in order to connect it to a full screen TV. And then right on top of that HDMI port, you have a power button to press to power up the device. On the top of the device, you have a capture button, which again will cover the freezing of the image or the saving of the image. And then in the back of the device, you have a couple of LEDs, 3 on each side, and you have 2 cameras, one to do distance viewing and one to do near viewing, which is at an angle. To start using the device, just flip the stand and the device will start and you can start reading. I can start reading my book here that I have in front of me. I can zoom in or I can zoom out. I can also change the color contrast if I'd like to. And again, these color contrasts will loop through the colors that have been assigned on this button. And again, to access those options, you press and hold the contrast button, which on this one is the orange button. And again, you have the same kind of menu. What's nice about this is that instead of using the plus or the minus, you can use your finger because this is a touch screen. You have the back button to go back to my live mode. I can use my pinch and zoom in order to zoom in or zoom out on the screen, which is very nice, very easy to use, very intuitive. And then let's say I want to do some distance viewing. What I have to do is that I just flip the stand and it will toggle automatically to my distance viewing camera. Let me try to get something here for you to see. And then if you want to have the focus done, you press on the screen and the focus will be done. And you can zoom in or zoom out, change the contrast colors again if you'd like to. It will loop through the colors. And then you want to come back to reading mode, just flip the stand again and you're back to reading mode. So it does it automatically for you. Very simple to use. You don't have to think about pressing a button or something like that to switch between the modes. It does it automatically to you. So let's say I'm a woodworker and I have some big plans. I want to build some Adirondack chairs for my summer because right now here in Canada it's pretty cold. We're stuck inside. Let's say I'd like to see my plans. This is a very useful device. You can just sit the device on the plans and you can start moving your device around. And this is why the flip stand is very useful, because you can take a look at a big surface area to read your material that you need to read. So let's, like I said, I'm a woodworker. I would like to follow my instructions. This is the best way to do so using my Explore 8. You got that big screen real estate. That is awesome. You can take a look at a lot of real estate that you have underneath the cameras. Moving on to, oh, yes, Natalie.
Yeah, just before we move on, we have a few questions.
Yeah.
Maybe I can read them to you. So somebody is asking about the average price for these devices.
So the Explore 5 retails at $749. I think we have a special on the website right now because of the COVID. This is USD. And then the Explore 8 is $1,100 USD, which is the same price as the 7-inch devices out there.
Okay, and somebody also wants to know what's the difference between these devices and, let's say, an iPad or a tablet.
They're specifically made for the visually impaired. So we've tweaked the image quality. And what I mean by that is if I take something that is in color, you want to have the brightest or the best contrast for the person using it. So we've tweaked the image quality to get the best image quality, and you can also have that inverted colors at a perfect contrast level for your for the user. So compared to an iPad, the camera is not a 21 megapixel. This has two 21 megapixel. You got that quality image that is on the screen, the best image quality to get that contrast to the user.
Okay, another question. Somebody wants to know if it works with an optical or digital zoom.
This is all digital zoom. The difference between optical and for digital, for the ones that are attending the webinar and don't know, the optical zoom will have lenses that will move, and that's going to make it make your image bigger or smaller. But for digital magnification, it will be done in the camera sensor. So in the camera, in the sensor of the camera, we'll play around with the pixels and make the image bigger. So a bigger sensor or a bigger megapixel camera you have, the more pixels you have in the picture to play around with and have that image quality.
Okay, and the last question we have on those Explorer is maybe if you could show us an example of how to write using one of those devices.
Sure, I can try. Oops, sorry about that. So I'm going to get here my notepad or my pad that I use or my book that I use to write some notes. So these devices sometimes are not a perfect thing to use in order to write, but you can still do so. Either the most intuitive way would be to go around the device, but you can also use it sideways if you'd like to. So you just write, you put the device on sideways, and you can start writing on the device. So if I can flip that camera around here, I'm gonna try to get that camera where I'm writing. So just by turning it sideways, you can start writing on the screen. You'll have a bit less real estate, but you can still use it. I think it's more comfortable to write this way because you have more space to write for your hand. But when you go around the device, you have to really stretch that arm. So if you want to use a device like this with a particular stand that you see right here on the Explorer 8, and the competition does the same, you can pivot the device, and you can start writing, and you see perfectly on the screen, and you have enough space to write underneath. Okay.
Okay. Somebody wrote a comment to everybody, but I would like to read it. It says, most people like to have a standalone magnifier to offset battery life of their smartphone and tablets. Or for people working in retail, customers are more comfortable with the employee using a standalone device rather than a personal device.
I love that. And that's all the use cases that make a handheld device compatible and to be able to use it. I love it. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're ready to move on.
Great. So we've talked about the Explorer line, and let's move up a screen. So we have a 5-inch, we have an 8-inch, but we also offer a 16-inch. And the 16-inch is it's a bigger device for sure, but it is a foldable device. So here, I'm going to present to you the Reveal 16. The Reveal 16 is a foldable CCTV that folds like you can see. Right now I have the XY table installed on mine. It's an option. You don't have to have the XY table, but if you don't have the XY table, it's just going to be a straight plate underneath. But here I have the XY table, which I'll show you how to use it. Right now it's folded. To unfold it, hold the base, just pull on top here, and then just pull the screen towards you. So I'm just going to move this back a bit. But basically, this is a 16-inch screen, and I have the option of having a battery. On this one, I don't have a battery, but if I turn the device around, I should have shown it to you folded. But here we have a battery compartment that we can put a battery, which comes in option. And also here, if I take a look also in the back, it's well arced, very nice visually. It looks good. And also on the top here, we have a camera, which is an optical and digital that offers optical and digital zooming or magnification capabilities that you can flip and turn 120 degrees on each side to do some distance viewing. And then in the back of the screen, which I'm going to turn the device here, I'm just going to pull this screen a bit lower. There is an HDMI port in order to put or connect an HDMI cable to a bigger screen TV. So on this device, what you can do is that it's only 4-button. You use only 4 buttons to use this device, and the first one on the left is a power button. So you press on that, the device will turn on. Let me take a book here just to place something underneath so that you can see. And as you notice, there's no boot time at all. It's ready to use right away. There's no splash screen. There's no waiting in order to start using it. It already starts. You have LEDs reflected that has lenses underneath to block the reflectiveness. If we were using a magazine to read it, to use a magazine, there's no reflection because of those lenses. So in these buttons, you have the second button from the left-hand side is a lock button. If you press on that, you're going to have a little lock on the top right corner. This will lock the autofocus. So let's say, for example, like I was doing with my Explore 8, and I would like to write underneath or do some manual task, I can do so and lock the autofocus. By locking the autofocus, well, the focus will not focus on my hand while writing. And the device has been done or designed so that there's almost no delay. Well, I'm going to say almost, but no delay between what I'm writing, what I'm doing underneath, and what's displayed on the screen. And to get that real live mode, what we had to do as an engineering team is to meet a 200 or 100 millisecond reaction time of that image. So there's almost no lag to this image while I'm doing my my writing or my manual task underneath. So this is the lock autofocus. You can also just unpress and to unlock it, but there's also a hidden function on this button. If you press and hold on it, it will redo the focus on the page. The second button, which is the orange button, is the main functionality of the device, meaning that it's going to zoom in if you go clockwise and counterclockwise to zoom out. So let's put a text here. I'll put my text right here so I can zoom in or zoom out. Well, let's say I zoom in here. Now the optical zoom will go up to 10x, and then it's going to be digital zoom up to 45x. Okay. So it's almost one word on the screen that I have there. But let's say I'm at 17 and I want to see an overview of my page, which you can do. You press and hold on the orange button, it will zoom out to 1x. So you can see where you are in the page. Once you release that button, it's going to zoom back into the zoom I was in, but in the middle of the page, the middle of the screen where I was at. Okay. And then the last button is my contrast button. So if I turn it clockwise or counterclockwise, it's going to loop through the color contrast that I've set on that button. So I don't know if you noticed, but it's the same way of using our devices that are passed through the devices all through the portfolio of the low vision devices. If you press and hold on the contrast button, just like the Explorer 5 and the Explorer 8, there will be a menu there to set either lines and blinds, screen brightness. Enable contrast is to enable the contrasts that are set on this button. And you can also have the contrast on this menu. There's an auto shut off, and there's different languages that are available for this menu. To go back, just press on the contrast button, and it will come back to my live mode. So I see a couple of, the one that I forgot to show, if I just drop a bit the screen, you can flip the camera like I showed you previously, and we can start using my camera, the same camera, to do my distance viewing. And I can have something here on my wall, try to zoom in. I don't know if I'm too close here. And then you can zoom in on whatever you want and change the color contrast if you want on there. If you press the lock button in distance, it will lock the image for you. So I can do whatever I'd like to. It's going to lock that image. I'm going to see what I have on the screen there. So I'm seeing a couple of questions there, Natalie. You want to go through them?
Yeah, I took care of one question. Somebody was asking if we would be seeing any Braille devices, and I said that we have presentations 4 times a week, so we can give them the schedule. There was one question for the unit. Somebody was wondering how much the unit could weigh. What was the weight of the unit?
By heart, I think it's around 13 pounds. So it's a bit heavier, but we've made it so that it's ergonomically easy to fold and also to carry. These two handles here are very useful to carry it around. It distributes the weight evenly all through the device. The reason why it's a bit heavier than if you look at the competition is that we've made it really robust so that, let's say you're walking in the room, you won't see your image and you're zoomed in really nicely and you're reading, and then somebody walks beside you. If we didn't have that stability or that robustness, that image would move a bit because it will go with the floor. It would follow the desk. It would follow the movement. But by doing our design that we selected, we're limiting that movement when you're at high levels up or high magnification. So if I move a bit the desk, it won't move as much. Okay. So that's why it's a bit heavier. It's a bit robust also. It's more robust than the competition.
Okay, we also have a question in the Q&A. Somebody's asking about the price for that unit.
The one that you're seeing here is $29.95 US dollars, so 2,995. And to come back to the question about the Braille devices, in this webinar, we won't see any Braille devices, but Braille devices, there's at noon, we have on Tuesdays and on Thursdays, we at noon again, noon Eastern time, there are webinars for our Braille devices with Andrew Flatris and Peter Tusik are doing a great job in these hard times, offering a lot of webinars on the Braille devices. Here today, we're looking at the low vision devices, what we can offer, and it's every Wednesday now at noon Eastern time every week. We'll be having a webinar on low vision devices. So we'll continue. This is the Reveal 16, which does everything in live mode, but I'd like Natalie to show you the sister or the brother of the Reveal 16, which is the Reveal 16i. And the main reason why Natalie is doing that part is that she has one at home and I don't. So we're doing all this from home, so we're not in the office. So Natalie, I'm going to let you talk a bit and to introduce the Reveal 16i for us.
Okay, while I get ready, maybe you can take care of the last question. It's regarding the carrying case for those devices.
Yes, so let me see here what we have as a question.
Regarding
the carrying case, will there be an extra foam included in the future? Good question. So that means that you already have a carrying case with your Reveal 16. This is somebody that has a Reveal 16 most probably. But yes, we're in the design of a new carrying case, which will be a lot more rugged than what we have right now. What we have right now is a is a carrying case with which is foldable and it's not really rugged. So the new carrying case will have foam in it, and yes, and it will protect more the device than what we have right now. And then there's another question. You mentioned it had a at a table. That was what was this? Okay, so let me take over again, Natalie. I'm just gonna, it's true that I didn't, we didn't take a look at the XY table that was offered on the Reveal 16. Like I said, there is an option to get an XY table on the Reveal 16 or the Reveal 16i. So I'm just gonna reopen my device here. And basically the XY table is to move into two directions. So what you have, there's a clip here, the orange clip that is right in the center, the bottom of the XY table. Just flip that. That is to lock in place. So if you flip it back, it will lock the XY table. But basically it's to help you move around in a page. So let's say I have a page of text and I'd like to follow. And some people like the XY table just because they're used of doing this. But you can do without the XY table, but this is the XY table right now. I'm gonna just put it a bit higher up here. So this is my XY table. If I want to break it somewhere, just flip that little handle and it's not going to move and it's going to stay there. Now it's asking me, somebody's asking me for that extra cost for the XY table. Off of my head, I cannot remember, but on the website, you have all the information. Sorry about that. At HumanWare.com. All right, Natalie, it's all yours.
Okay, and I've seen that in the Q&A we have a question probably from a senior asking what else can we do than reading. So I'm going to answer that question while I do my presentation. I do have in my house the Reveal 16i. So it's a CCTV, a little bit like the one Eric showed that he has at his house. So it has all the same feature, but with the eye, it has everything that has to do with connectivity. So if I turn it on, I have access to a magnifier like Eric did. I decided to take a kid's book because kids are out of school. And I have all the same buttons as Eric did, except for one, which is the button with the two arrows. So if I press on that button, I am brought to an application suite, which is made by HumanWare, and which is the intelligence of the unit. So it is called Prodigy. That's the name of our software, and we are now at version 4.2. So what we can find in this application is the camera. So let me click on it. So a little bit like Eric could do is that we can have a magnifier, read some text, enlarge it, and take pictures. So let me take a picture of one of the texts by clicking on the camera at your left. So by taking this picture with the intelligence of the software, I can have an OCR, I can save the document, I can read it, and I can have it read to me. So let's look at the document I've created. Okay, it's easy to enlarge. If I can have it read to me, I can hard press on a word. I'm sorry. And to stop, I can hard press again on the screen, or I can use the arrow here at the far right to have it read to me, or to stop it. If I want, I can save it. It's going to be saved in a gallery. I will show you the gallery later on. So let me go back to the menus by using the arrow. And let me take 2 pages to capture 2 pages. So I'm going to use the third button from the top. Click on it, and I'm going to be able to have a multi-mode capture. So let me capture the first page. And then again, even if I'm in single mode or multi-mode, I have access to OCR. I can save the document and I can have it in the gallery. Let me take a second page of text, clicking on it. And I will show you what we can do right away with the software. But in the gallery, you will see that there is a difference between a one-page capture and multi-page capture. So if I click on it, no, I'm sorry, I have to go to the library. So this is my two-page capture. So I can click on it and have it read to me the same way I did before.
He said, I know that Mrs.
Okay.
Gomez is really tough.
Let me stop. So let me go back. If I'm ever lost anywhere in the application and I want to go back to the carousel where I can find the magnifier and the gallery, I can just press on the big orange button. There, I'm brought back. So let's go into the library where I saved the documents that we've seen previously. So in the gallery, if you notice but probably not, the text that I took with 2 pages had the word Gomez on the third word. So if I press on the binder, I have access to my 2-page document. And if I go to this page, I can see that it's the last page I took a picture, a capture, so I can have it read from here. I can have access to OCR, stop it, go back, and you can even use a pen and write on it. So if it's an exam, I can write my exams right away on it. Okay, let me bring you back to the carousel. And introduce you to our book features. So we can look at books. We work with Bookshare. So we can search for books when we browse by periodical, popular books. We can search books, and they are all included in our library. So if you look here, I've already downloaded a few books in the library. But if I want to download some more, I search book, either by content, category, author, or title. Let's look for a book by Robert Munsch. Look for it. So I have it, Get Out of Bed by Robert Munsch. It's the right book. Let's download it. And when the book is downloaded, it will automatically be carried into my library. So if I go back to my library, as we've seen before, we have Get Out of Bed that was added. If I want to have extra applications, we just had the question from a senior person. I can use 4-finger, press on the screen, and I have access to all the apps that I want. So Skype, if we want to speak to somebody on Skype, Google, Excel, Microsoft. If some are missing, we can search by apps, or we have already a few apps downloaded. So I think I went over all what I wanted. Eric, how is it going with the questions?
There's a couple. Okay, so let me start with this one here. Does this work with RNIB Bookshare in the UK rather than the US version? Yes, it does. If you have an access to RNIB Bookshare, you can do so. You can log in to the books application and you'll be able to use it. Then here I have another question. I have Prodigy Original. Will I ever be able to get on the internet. So I'm guessing here the question of this person is that you have either the Prodigy Duo or the Prodigy Desktop right now at home, and we didn't have the internet access at that time, and unfortunately there will be no other software updates on those version on that particular device. So unfortunately, not going to be, you're not going to be able to go to on the internet with it. Meaning you won't be able to use Chrome or something like that to go on the internet, but you'll still have access to the Wi-Fi. Then what's the advantage of the Reveal 16i compared to the Connect 12? Well, you want me to answer, Natalie, or you want to answer that?
You can go ahead, but we're going to show the Connect 12 in a few minutes.
Yeah, so for those of you who know about the Connect 12, we're going to go through that one next, but it's a very portable device, and will offer the Prodigy software that Natalie just showed, and will offer also all the connectivity that we went through for the Reveal 16i. What I would say as an advantage for the Reveal 16i, the Android version is a bit is recent, so it's Android 7 instead of 6 on the Connect 12. It has also a 16-inch screen for those who would prefer a bigger screen compared to the Connect 12, which is a 12-inch screen. But what really the Connect 12 has going for it is the portability of the device. So another question concerning, I guess, the RNRB Bookshare. Do they download into my library as on the Connect 12? We can't get the books inside the Prodigy software. Now, yes, when you, it's, well, okay, so this is a twofold question here. The books application was done in order to be able to download the books and leave them in the books application. And no, it will not go into the gallery system, just like if we would import a PDF, which I'll show a bit later using the Connect 12. It will download them so that you'll have access to those books in your library in books, but you won't be able to annotate, you won't be able to, it won't be shown as in the gallery. This is something that will maybe come further down in the roadmap, to be able to download and put them in the gallery and have them in the same format as in the gallery. I hope that answers that question. And then somebody mentioned something about the iOS HumanWare Buddy App. And I want to just going to take over here, Nally, and we're just going to do a little parenthesis on the app that person is talking about. So I'm going to activate my webcam here. So right now, what is the HumanWare Buddy App is really an application that you can download on Android and on iOS. Here I'm using my phone. I have installed it on my Android device. It's not available on Android. Right now we've launched it for iOS, but really what this app, once it's going to be available in Android, if you have an Android phone, you'll be able to find it in the Play Store, download it, install it. And right now, like I said, we've just launched it for iOS. So for those of you who have an iPhone, you can take a look in the store, and you'll find the HW or HumanWare Buddy App. And this offers a how-to. It offers also the videos. So if you want to take a look at the videos, like this webinar here will be recorded, and it will be shared through our YouTube channel. So it's going to be on here. You have access to all the training material, all the user guides, and also you can have the support information there also. So everything is on your phone. If you need help using one of our devices, the Buddy app is there for you. You can take a look at the user guides, you can take a look at the videos, or you can even call tech support to help you out. So this was launched. It's one of the things that was launched a couple of days back, and I hope you guys are going to like it. And right now the feedback that we're getting is great on the Buddy app. So again, HW Buddy app is available on iOS right now.
We have a question regarding CNIB and CELA library. Is
Yes.
it possible to download?
For now, it's not possible to download from CELA or from CNIB. These are Canadian libraries, but for September, we're aiming on a new release, 4.4, Prodigy 4.4, and will include the Dolphin interface. So Dolphin has an interface of all kinds of libraries, a bit like what they use in their Easy Reader app. But we'll include it in our books application, and you'll have access to all kinds of new libraries like the CELA or other libraries all over the world. Okay. So I see there's a lot of questions here. This is really needed. Okay, so that the option of getting the books on Prodigy, like I just answered, saying that it's really needed. So like I said, we're going to include it in the roadmap moving on. And somebody just mentioned also the Buddy app, which is a great app. Even very good instructions, how you can update. Very true. So on the Buddy app, you have, like I said, there's all kinds of instructions or tutorials on how to do stuff with our devices. So for example, how to update an Explorer 5 or an Explorer 8. This is a manual task, but it shows you how to do that. Also the Reveal 16, it shows you how to update your Reveal 16 and everything else like that. So if you have any questions on those specific devices, it's all there for you. So let's move on. I want to show you the Connect 12. Connect 12 has been out for a couple of years now. People are loving the form factor. Well, basically, this is it. The Connect 12 is an Android-based tablet which docks onto a stand, which I'm using right now. I have the APH stand. Don't look at this. It's the APH version. APH is American Printing House for the Blind, which is available in the US market. On quota funds, and basically it's the same thing. It's the Android tablet like on the Connect 12, except it has a couple of things different. It has the APH toolbox. It has a notes application, and also it has different levels of interface. If I go into settings, user interface, there's a couple of user interfaces here that are available. So depending on the age of the student that is using it, you can use basic mode, which is only going to be for live purposes. And then the standard will add the OCR to the live image. And then the advanced is what we see here is a full-blown Prodigy where you can go into Android and have the distance viewing camera and everything else on there. And there's also a nice webinar that I gave last week on the calculator for APH. The calculator, which differs from the Connect 12, which offers a graphing mode calculator, so you can see your graphs while using the calculator. So these are the big differences on the Mac Connect and the Connect 12. But I'm going to show you here today is my question here, is APH version available outside the US, Canada? The APH version is only available in the US market for now. For the Connect 12, this is available internationally, everywhere. We offer it in the US and they're all over the world. But basically, like I said, it's an Android tablet. And as you can notice, what Natalie was showing you about Prodigy, you have the same software here on the Connect 12. So you're not lost. If you have a Reveal 16i, have a Connect 12 or a Mac Connect, it's the same way of functioning. And if you notice, it's the same kind of message that we do with the other products, the handhelds with the Reveal 16, all the basic, very user-friendly devices all work the same, and then the connected devices also work the same, very similar. So you have a magnifier, which I'm not going to go through all of it, but basically the magnifier is there to take a capture or do some manual task under the device. Take a capture, do the OCR on it. You can zoom in, zoom out. Natalie went through the same procedure for the Reveal 16. What I'm going to do, though, I'm going to talk about the distance application. Distance application goes with a distance camera. The distance camera is a Wi-Fi camera. So when you're using the Wi-Fi camera, you cannot use the internet. But basically what you do to use the distance camera, I should have turned it on before accessing my app. But basically once the connection is done to the tablet, I can start using it to do my distance viewing. So what's really nice about this is that I can turn this device 360 degrees. So I can self-view or I can do my distance viewing. And the best way to zoom in on an image at distance is to press and hold on the plus sign that will zoom in. And then the same for zoom out. Press and hold on that button, and it's going to gradually zoom in or zoom out. So that's the best way. If you use the pinch and zoom, it's going to do one increment at a time, so it could take time. So just press and hold on that button. It's going to work fine. You can take a capture. Once you do the capture, it's going to be saved in the gallery. Same kind of gallery that Natalie went through with the Reveal 16i. And it's going to take a picture. It's going to transfer it to the gallery. But also, on the left-hand side, there is an arrow button. If you press on that, and that's going to separate your screen in half here. So what I have at the bottom here is my book, which I'm reading. So I can follow what the teacher is saying in front. And on the top here is my distance viewing camera. So like I said, the teacher can be talking in front, doing an exercise, and I can follow at the same time as my teacher. The same thing for notes, meeting notes. So if I'm a professional using this device, you can use this to take notes at the same time as listening to the speaker talk in front. You want to switch from one to the other very quickly. Let's say I want to go to my magnifier. I just click on that. I'm into my magnifier mode. I can split the screen, or I can just use a gesture to flip between the two. And this is a feature that's very useful because you can flip between the two very quickly. So if you want to have a bigger screen or bigger real estate on to take your notes or to do your manual tasks, you have the option to do that just by flipping through the two modes. If you want to go back to the main gallery, use 2 fingers on this one. 2 fingers, double tap. You're back to my carousel where you're at. So if you're somewhere in your settings and you want to fast way back to your menu, 2 fingers, double tap, very useful shortcut. You have the books application, just like on the Reveal 16i. You have access to the Bookshare library. And you have a calculator also. The calculator does not include the graphing calculator that I just showed you, but it does include a standard mode and a scientific mode. The scientific mode will offer all the trigonometric or exponential or logarithmic functions of mathematics, and it will give you a numbered result. It will not graphic, but it will give you a numerical result. So let me go back. Let's say you've taken an assignment, taken a picture of an assignment, and you want to work on that assignment. Now, let me do this another way around. Let's say right now we're all stuck at home, and maybe you're a teacher that's listening to me right now using my devices, and you'd like to share some exercises with your students, so that your students can continue advancing in their learning. So what you can do is do a PDF and share PDF with them. So right now I went a bit fast, but what I want to show you is that you can go out into Android, okay, by doing a 5-finger or a 4-finger press and hold, and you're into the Android system. You can go and you can connect to a Google Drive, and let's say my teacher shared to me a book that I need to read, or maybe a math book that, or a math exercise that I need to do in PDF. So what I can do is I can import that PDF into Prodigy. So I can open with, it's going to pop up with an option, either Prodigy or PDF Viewer. Choose PDF, choose Prodigy always, and it's always going to go into Prodigy. And what that's going to do is that it's going to convert that PDF and import it into Prodigy directly. So by doing that, I have access to my homework. I have access to my assignment. So I click on that. I can zoom in and watch this. I can even edit. So that pencil, that third button from the left-hand side, tap on that, and I can edit my answer. So I can pinch and zoom further here, and let's do this equation. 6 plus 4 is 0. I can put that a bit thinner. And I have an eraser that I can use. There we go. So I'm going to do a 0 here, carry the 1. So that's 6, and then 12. So that's my answer. So we can do all these math problems, and then when I'm done, I can share that with my teacher by different means. If I go back here to my gallery and press and hold on the image that I just did, or if I want to send my whole workload that I just did, my edition 10 here, worksheet, document, I can press and hold on that document, and then I can use any actions on there, and I can use share. If I use share, I can convert this back to a PDF, and then I can share it either by email using my Gmail account or my Outlook account if it's installed here. I can use Dropbox. I can use Google Drive to share it back to my teacher so that she can grade it or he can grade it back to me. So that's kind of like a virtual classroom that you have access here, which everybody's talking about virtual meetings, virtual classrooms. This is the best tool for your student and the teacher right now to be using and getting that student organized for next year, because I don't know if we're going to go back to school anymore with what's going on, but just to be ready for the next step of their school year. So I see that there's a couple of questions. I don't know, Natalie, can you read them out to me? See if I can answer a couple, and then
Yes.
we'll send out a little poll that we did, because I want to know really who's listening to this webinars. And so that's our first poll that we're going to send out. I'm going to talk a bit about also the next webinar for next week. So go ahead, let's start with the questions.
Okay, so if you go on the camera, somebody's asking about the digital camera and wants to know if there's a lag when writing.
Okay, so if I'm using the Connect 12, it is all digital magnification, and it is a digital camera. It's a 13 megapixel camera. We're using the camera on the tablet. So if I take a tablet, for example, this little camera, this is what we're using. So yes, there will be a lag. I'm not going to hide that. There will be a lag. There will be a small lag just because it's digital. And if you want to have the technical part of it is the communication between Android and the camera that is taking a lot of time. Remember that 100 millisecond that we have to meet in order to not to have that lag? 100 millisecond is the number of seconds that a human being will not know that there's a lag. So that's the maximum that you can have. So unfortunately, the communication between the Android system and the camera is not fast enough. So yes, you will have a bit of lag. But like I said, this is why we designed the Connect 12 in order to do everything virtually. So I can take a capture of my document, save it. Let's do it. Let's try it. Let's go in my magnifier. Take a book, any book here. I'm just gonna take a scan here. To do a scan, this is how I do it. I don't know if you notice here, but I'm showing I put my tablet 90 degrees up, and I have some tape here on the corner because I know that tape, this is where my full page will be. So I can feel that if I don't know where to put my page, but I can feel that tape, so I know where to place my corner in order to get my full page. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my full page here, press and hold on the screen, and then it's going to take a capture. As I do that, I can remove the book and the OCR will be done on it. I don't need to use the OCR. The OCR is optical character recognition. It's going to change all the font to computer font to have really nice image quality. But like I said, you don't need to do all the manual tasks underneath the camera. You can take a capture, save it, and then I'm going to take out, I can work in positive or in color. I'm going to go back in color, and then I can, what I just did for my exercise, I can use my pen, answer my questions, take notes on this page, and then share the information or send it out to my teacher. So you don't really need to do everything in live mode. You can take your time, take a capture, modify it, and then share it. Next question.
Yeah, while you're in there, maybe you can show how we can answer with the text, because somebody's asking if we can answer an exam without a pen.
If we can answer an exam without a?
Pencil, pen.
Yeah, well, you can do so. Hold on just a sec. Since I'm home, my son is playing hockey upstairs, so I don't know if there's a lot of noise. Hold on. Sorry about that. Just told him to stop. There we go. All right. So to do an exam, really, you can take a capture, import everything in here, and have them right on the screen here. But what you don't want is your student to cheat. And your student, if they have access to Wi-Fi, Chrome, or things like that, they will be able to cheat. So the thing to do, what I like to do is that go out into Android, go to your Play Store, and then search for an application called AppLock. AppLock. Download that, and it's going to be the AppLock by Do Mobile Lab. Click on that, install that application. That application, what it will do is that it will give you a password. So the only person that has a password is just supposed to be the teacher. You enter that password, and then you can restrict the usage of Chrome. You can restrict, you can unconnect the Wi-Fi, you can restrict all kinds of applications that are installed on here. So that would be a good way to restrict that, and then have your student answer the PDF that you imported beforehand inside your gallery. And to do that, we just did an example where I've imported an exercise, my math problem here, which is going to be in my gallery. Now I only have access to my gallery. I can delete everything in my gallery beforehand, and I only have that exercise for him or her to do. I hope that answers that question.
Perfect. Somebody was asking if APH version was available outside of US and Canada. So it's not available in Canada?
For the APH version, no, that I answered previously. It's only available in the US side.
Okay. And how can you get rid of the OCR?
Well, you remember what I just did here when I took a picture? Now right here, I can do a swipe on the right-hand side. It's going to go to negative. Swipe again, it's going to go positive. Swipe again, it's going to be color. Swipe again, diamond edge. Diamond edge is when the OCR detected my text and replaced the text here. Okay, this is what you can do. But there's also an option here. Yeah. So if you go into, when I'm reading a page here, I can go into I can tap on my second button from the left, which is my settings, and then go down the list. And in that list, there's diamond edge always. Tap on that, and it's going to say on request. So you won't have that text on there anymore. So it should always be on request all the time. Okay. So those are the two ways of doing this.
Okay, somebody's asking if we can use a stylus.
Yes, you can. Any stylus can do. I like using, I don't have one here, but I know that somebody, a student was using like a mesh stylus, which was working nicely. I prefer the rubber ones. Yes, they're a bit thicker, but I find that they work better on these screens.
Okay, somebody's asking if there's a non-screen keyboard. Can you annotate in the PDF using text boxes?
Absolutely. So again, I have my page here. Press on that pencil. And then if you press again on the pencil icon, you can highlight. Or again, a third time, you'll have a T here on the button. And that T, what it will do is that you can use a keyboard. Now, to start writing with a keyboard, I'm going to zoom in here a bit. Press and hold in the document, and you'll be able to write whatever you want. So right now, I don't have a Bluetooth keyboard, so my virtual keyboard popped up. and I can use my virtual keyboard to type in an answer. I love this for the notes application, which I'm going to show you how to do a completely new note, kind of like a notepad application here. But then once you're done, click on the little paper airplane that's on the top right, and it's going to bring that text into my document here. So right now, this is where I have it. And again, did you see what I just did? I'm in the annotation application here, and I can edit this picture. But to pan, when I'm in that annotation, is 2-finger, okay, to pan in there. So right now, this is my text. I can highlight that text. I can zoom in that text, or I can zoom out. I can drag it somewhere else I want, and put it somewhere that I wanted in the page. Okay. Now, I'm going to go further down. I'm going to go answer more of that question here. In my gallery, I remember I was in my gallery here in my main menu. If I scroll on the left, there's a folder called Notes. So if I tap on that, right now there's nothing, but I can create an empty note, an empty page. So if I click on the button on the top right, create a new note, and that's going to give me a blank canvas. So I can start writing with my stylus, or I can use my keyboard like I just did. And this is nice because then you can enter any text you want, as large as you want, and then send it over to my note that I just started here. Then I can zoom in or zoom out, place it anywhere in my note. And that's how you would do it. And also, if you want to, let's say you need your student to compose something for you, an essay, then he or she can do it all on here, and then share that with you. So by pressing and holding that note, share, convert it into a PDF, email it through Google Drive, by Gmail, Outlook, or Dropbox if it's installed on here.
Okay, somebody's asking, what's the advantage of the Reveal 16i compared to the Connect 12?
Okay, we answered that previously.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody has a number of second generation Connect 12 with the old stand, and
Yes.
he was wondering if we improved it.
Well, not the first generation. Now we're selling only the second generation. We don't have the first generation anymore, which was with the Samsung tablet and the old stand. Now the Samsung tablet's not going to work with this stand, though, unfortunately. Yeah, so you have to go and go to the second version of the Connect 12. I'm not even sure if we have enough parts to fix them anymore.
Somebody suggests that we put the tape on the stand so we can know where to have a full page. So we'll take a note of that.
Mm-hmm.
Next question, can you use a Bluetooth keyboard? Does HumanWare offers a keyboard?
Absolutely. Now Natalie has one. I'm going to let Natalie show you the Bluetooth keyboard that we offer. Can you show that then, Natalie?
Yes, I can. I'm just going to turn on my video. I've moved my things around. So this is the keyboard that we offer. It's Bluetooth. Let me turn on.
Can you move the camera a bit down?
Yeah. Okay, closer. Okay. So if I go into, let me go into the book to look for books. Search a book by title. So I can use my keyboard. Let's hide it. The cat in the hat. So that was all typed on my keyboard. So there it is. So we can use a keyboard. Okay. Is it good for you, Eric? I think so.
Yep, good.
Yeah. Okay. What is the cost of the Reveal 16 and the Connect 12?
Reveal 16i is $39.95, so $3,995, and the Connect 12 is $29.95, so $2,995 US dollars.
Okay, and somebody's asking if we can save the picture from distance viewing in the Reveal 16i for later use, not from live mode.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let me show you. If I go back.
He asked for the 16i, but it works just the same in
Oh.
the Connect 12.
No, the Connect 12, you can do that. Now on the Reveal 16i, you cannot for now, but it's something that was in the roadmap to include in later versions.
Okay. How do you know which versions of Connect you have?
Okay, so I'm going to let you do, well, I can maybe show it on the Reveal 16, but basically, in the Connect 12, when you go into, if you scroll to the right, up to settings, click on that, and then go down, the last option in settings is about. And in there, there's the Prodigy version. And right now, the release that everybody should have is Prodigy 4.2.1.7722. Now, if you don't have that, what you do is that you go back one up in the settings and then go into System, Wi-Fi Setup, turn on your Wi-Fi, and then here you can connect to a Wi-Fi in Wi-Fi networks. Connect to a Wi-Fi. Once you're done that and you're connected to the Wi-Fi, go back up again and go and select System and do Software Update. Now mine's going to check if there's an update. My software right now is up to date, so it's going to tell me it's up to date. But if it's not, it's going to tell you, well, there's an update, you should update it, and you can install that. Okay.
Okay, I think we went over all the questions.
Okay. All right. Before you leave, guys, I know that we went a bit over an hour. I have a little poll for you guys. I just want to see where everybody's from and what you do in the visually impaired community. Are you a teacher, a parent? So please try to just answer that little poll just to see what kind of audience we have here, and we can adapt these webinars. Now, the next webinar next Wednesday, same time, same place. We'll send out again a newsletter on this to register for the webinar, but we'll be talking about the Connect 12, how to use the Connect 12 fully with all this tweak, all its features for the classroom and at home, because this is a all-in-one solution. You can do everything on here. You can browse the internet, you can edit some homework, share your homework, do some distance viewing. This can be your CCTV at the same time as being your computer. So we'll be going through that, a bit more detail on the Connect 12. So if you do have a Connect 12 at home, bring it along and try to follow along, and we'll answer also all your questions, and we'll help you get everything up and running for you. I hope you really liked and enjoyed this webinar, and stay tuned for the next one next week, and we'll be having these weekly webinars, and we'll be talking about all kinds of interesting products that we can offer at HumanWare, and all kinds of solutions we can offer you guys at HumanWare. So stay safe, be healthy, and keep on learning. Thank you very much, guys, to log in, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you.